Week 6 is practically in the books, and with it, some chaos theory came to fruition. The top upset of the day came in Big 12 play when Iowa State, down its starting quarterback, went on the road as a 31-point underdog and knocked off Oklahoma in stunning fashion. There was also a road upset in the Big Ten with Michigan State holding off Michigan in a monsoon that shook up the Big Ten East standings. And with the bounce-back performance of the week, LSU went into the swamp and beat Florida in an ugly 17-16 boxing match. CBS Sports is here to give you all the recaps, scores, highlights and analysis from Saturday's action. Schedule, predictions, scores. Iowa State 38, Oklahoma 31, recap. Penn State 31, Northwestern 7, box score. Clemson 28, Wake Forest 14, box score. LSU 17, Florida 16, recap, breakdown. Miami 24, Florida State 20, box score. TCU 31, West Virginia 24, box score. Alabama 27, Texas A&M 19, box score. Michigan State 14, Michigan 10, box score. Washington State 33, Oregon 10, box score. Check these out. Need to know: Iowa State upsets number 3 Oklahoma in Norman. 7 OT, 139 points. WMU edges Buffalo in highest scoring, longest FBS game. Whoa. Arizona backup enters game, sets FBS record for QB rushing. Watch, Miami ends losing streak to FSU on insane last-minute TD. Michigan falls, Spartans upset as Harbaugh's latest rivalry loss. Not yet. Tight end's sister celebrates TD on field during game. Important injury: Clemson QB Kelly Bryant hurts ankle, leaves game. Watch, Miami defender uses Florida State's player as an air guitar. LOL, Cyclones plant Iowa State flag at Sooners 50. Job opening: Ole Miss posts job for permanent coach on day of blowout. Watch, Michael Irvin loses his damn mind after Miami finally beats FSU. Alabama survives late scare and win over Texas A&M. It wasn't a supreme, ultra, suffocating blowout like it has been the last 2 weeks for top-ranked Alabama in Kyle Field on Saturday night against Texas A&M in a 27-19 win. In fact, it got a little sketchy late. Led by running back Damian Harris's 119 yards and 1 touchdown, along with the defensive line that was giving Texas A&M quarterback Kellen Mond fits, Coach Nick Saban's crew jumped out to a 17-3 in Aggie land at halftime. After falling into a massive 3-0 deficit, Harris broke off a 75-yard touchdown run. All told, Texas A&M led for a total of 13 seconds. Hey, that's about 13 more than expected, right? But Texas A&M didn't give up. Mond found Christian Kirk late in the third quarter. 12th man Cullen Gillespie blocked a J.K. Scott punt through the back of the end zone, and the Aggies had life at 24-12 early in the fourth quarter. But Alabama bled the clock on a 10-play drive that culminated with a field goal, leaving time for Texas A&M for one long touchdown drive, and then a desperation onside kick with 17 seconds left that failed. This is actually the perfect game for Saban. His squad didn't bring its A game. It was B- at best, and was the first true test since the season-opening win over Florida State. That'll give Saban plenty of motivational material heading into the Arkansas game at home next week. Related: poor Brett Bielema. This one's going to hurt. Sam Ehlinger leads Texas to overtime win over Kansas State. Texas coach Tom Herman has already been a part of 2 thrilling overtime games in his first 5 games in Austin. Though Texas lost its first overtime game against USC, it came out on the right side in a 40-34 victory against Kansas State. Quarterback Sam Ehlinger, again starting in place of the injured Shane Buechele, was 30 of 50 for 380 yards and 2 touchdown passes. He also showed tremendous toughness with one of the most brutal truck stick plays of the day. At this point, it's fair to wonder if this is his team now. Michigan State knocks off Michigan in the rain. Little brother did it again. For the fourth time in 5 years, Michigan State beat Michigan on Saturday night, this time with a 14-10 victory in a relentless downpour. The only thing falling from the sky more frequently than the raindrops were Michigan turnovers, as the Wolverines coughed up the ball 5 times on the night. John O'Korn had 3 interceptions of his own, and there were 2 Michigan fumbles. Michigan State only managed 14 points and 252 yards of offense, but that's all it needed thanks to Michigan's mistakes. Miami finally ends its losing streak against Florida State. Miami beat Florida State for the first time since 2009 and did so in exciting fashion. The first 55 minutes of the game featured 2 touchdowns. The final 5 had 3. First, Miami scored to take a 17-13 lead with 5:09 to play, and Florida State responded with a 9-play, 75-yard drive to take a 20-17 lead with 1:24 left to play. That's when Malik Rosier and Miami went to work, and the Canes weren't trying to get a field goal attempt. Everybody in this rivalry has seen how that movie ends. So, in the final seconds, Rosier found Darrell Langham for a 23-yard touchdown with 6 seconds left in the game. It was Rozier's 3rd passing touchdown of the day, and it was the one that ended Miami's 7-game losing streak to its rival to the north. TCU holds off West Virginia 31-24. With Oklahoma losing to Iowa State earlier in the day, TCU had a chance to make a big move in the Big 12. And it did just that against West Virginia. The Horned Frogs beat the Mountaineers 31-24. The Frogs blew a 17-3 lead in the second half, but were able to hold off the Mountaineers thanks to Kenny Hill. First, the TCU quarterback caught a screen pass and went 48 yards to the house, and then he scored on a 3-yard run with 2:53 to play to give TCU the last touchdown it would need. Iowa State upsets Oklahoma in Norman. It might not be the biggest upset of the season as far as point spreads are concerned, but there certainly hasn't been a more impactful upset than Iowa State's 38-31 victory at Oklahoma on Saturday. The Cyclones ended an 18-game losing streak to the Sooners and did so without their starting quarterback. The Cyclones trailed 24-10 in the second quarter, but scored on their final 5 possessions of the game. Georgia runs all over Vanderbilt. The Georgia Bulldogs are yet to stumble in 2017, picking up an easy 45-14 victory against Vanderbilt on Saturday. As the score suggests, the Dogs dominated the day, barely breaking a sweat on their way to a win. The Bulldogs rushed for 423 yards as a team, as Sony Michel, 150 yards, a touchdown, and Nick Chubb, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns, didn't find much resistance. As a result, Georgia's already bowl eligible in early October. Penn State looks rusty, still beats Northwestern 31-7. 4th-ranked Penn State went on the road at Northwestern on Saturday, and while it didn't look like its normal self early on, the Nittany Lions kicked it into high gear in the second half to earn a decisive victory. Saquon Barkley had the worst first half of his career, rushing for -1 yards on 8 carries, but finished things off strong with 75 yards on 16 carries and 2 touchdowns. How did they get a spark? Throw to a backup quarterback, of course. QB Trace McSorley hit Tommy Stevens for a 10-yard touchdown early in the second quarter to extend the lead to 10-0. Auburn cruises past Ole Miss. Number 12 Auburn apparently had several cups of strong coffee prior to its 11 a.m. CT kick at home against Ole Miss. The Tigers rolled out to a 28-3 lead on 2-2 Ole Miss, which included a beautiful 75-yard catch and run from Jarrett Stidham to Ryan Davis. Check out tackle Austin Golson getting wide to Spring Davis and wide receiver Nate Craig Myers at the Ole Miss 35-yard line directing traffic while blocking downfield before Davis cuts back. Auburn running back Kerryon Johnson added 3 more rushing touchdowns in the first half to take the FBS rushing touchdown lead with 12, 11 of which have been in the past 3 games. The Tigers finished off the Rebels 44-23.